Welcome to Adventures in Manifesting. My name is Kristen Anderson, and I will be your host as we dive deep into all things manifesting.
But the fact that you even pulled any piece of paper printed together, like, I'm impressed. Okay, so we're talking today about relationships and how they actually reflect the inner work that you need to do on yourself. They say that relationships are a mirror for yourself, and we're going to go really, really deep on that and get to the underlying layers.
Oh boy.
I'm here with my friend Yvonne, and we're going to chat it out. So, where should we start?
Okay, so should I introduce myself?
Yeah, go ahead, Yvonne.
So hi, I'm Yvonne, and I'm going to figure out my own podcast, and I'm thinking the optimal language lady, because I love language, and this goes right into my language. So, because I am obsessed with relationships and inner work, so this is right up my alley, so thank you.
Yay!
So I don't know if you want to start with a question, and then, or if you just want to say what you're...
I want to start with what you started to say before I made the tea, because you started to say something and I was like, oh no, that's really, really good. I'm going to need to record that. So I had you pause, and now probably both of us are going to forget what it was.
Well, I know what I was talking about. It's just, I had this conversation before with you of when you're really articulate when nobody's listening, and then when how hard it is to re-articulate something when you're on the spot kind of thing.
Exactly.
But basically, what I was saying before was about everybody, it is human to create a story. So it's, do we stop ourselves when we go into story because it's not empowering? Or do we continue to disempower ourselves? And everybody will allow people to tell a story. So like if whatever our trauma is, or whatever our... I'm going to turn this off. Whatever our trauma is, or whatever story or some occurrence. Now, if we go and tell somebody and we keep repeating the same story, then now we're living into it. So like when you wake up in the morning, you might forget, because we actually wake up that we're supposed to have a clean slate. But you're waking up in the morning now of, what happened yesterday? Oh, yes, I was mad at so-and-so, and I have a reason to, and that person did this, and they didn't do this. And so therefore, you're like, yeah, I'm going back to that story rather than clean slate. And now, how am I going to start my day off? Like, what's your intention? I always like to start days with intention. Or even when you're going into a conversation with somebody, what's your intention? But in order to avoid living into the problem. Does that make sense? So like we all create story out of problems. But if we create a different story, that then we have a different relationship to whatever happened. And we choose to forgive somebody if it was something along the lines of something done. But just as long as we're not living into whatever negative happened. I mean, it's nice to live into a happy story. So I do tell my husband and my daughter, does that sound like the most empowering story? So I do say that to them all the time. And then I say, if you want to create a story, why don't you make it a good one? So what else did you want to happen? Or what would you like to happen? And so, like, we're the manifestors. So that goes into your podcast, too.
Yes, indeed. I like that because it's so important. One of the other, I was creating a course, and I wasn't sure which one to do first. I have, like, 5 courses in my head. But one of them is victim to victorious. And going from the victim mindset to a victorious mindset. The one thing that is so important is the story that you tell. And the reason that we tell our traumatic stories is so that we can be heard and we can heal. But at a certain point, you have to stop telling that story. Everybody has trauma. Whether it's, as bad as yours or not so much is irrelevant, because for them, it is bad. And for you, maybe what happened to you is way worse, but it's still bad for them too. This is not a contest. Everybody has their trauma. The point is to change your story, clean slate morning, and create something better today, because you have that every moment. It doesn't even have to be morning. You could decide to do it at 5 p.m.
Exactly.
Right? So what are the relationship challenges? So basically, let me start where this was an aha moment for me. Just the other day, I was thinking about a friend of mine who was told that he was a healer. And I was really, picking up my magnifying glass and going in on him and being like, why? How is he a healer? I don't get it. Like, what? He's a mess. Like, what? Why is he a healer? Why am I not a healer? And then I was like, wait a minute. I feel like I am a healer, but what does that mean? That means that I am here to heal myself. That's why I'm here. Why is he a healer? He needs to heal himself. That's why he's here. That's why we're all here. So if you can take, they say relationships are a mirror. So there are so many things that were annoying me about a relationship that I had recently. So basically, procrastination was one. Mm-hmm. It was so huge, like, oh my God, can you stop procrastinating? So then when I really stopped and looked at why that was bothering me so much and how that reflects on me, I realized that I've been talking about doing a podcast for 2 years and I have not done it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is about me. He's reflecting me. That's why it's so annoying, because it's all the work that I have to do. Like, that was huge. So anyway, tell me about what's going on in your relationships.
Well, yeah, you brought this to me the other day and blew up my head. So I went home and thought about what other people, like what they do that I feel like they're irking me or putting something onto me, like so that I could take, I'm going to say responsibility and ownership for my side of what's being mirrored back. And something that I told you about was like people's lack of responsibility, and how when I was growing up, I was put into a situation where I was always asked to be responsible, or not even asked, it was just in the way that my family was, then I thought I was responsible for them. So most of my life I was responsible for my mother and my sister especially, but I was responsible for everybody's feelings as well. So I was living as if this is a truth of that. And so then anyway, when you said mirror back, I mean, I was like, I'm really responsible. What do you mean that like somebody, like that I'm mirroring irresponsibility, so, which was very funny. And so ownership came out of that, which I thought was really cool. So other people's lack of responsibility is not there's no job for me to have to take responsibility for another person. I'm just responsible. And I knew that intellectually, but you hit me on a spiritual note or emotionally or something that day, where I got it on a deep level. And prior to that, I knew it in my head. And I know like that's where I go a lot of times. Just it's a protective mechanism too, of like be logical, understand it. So I can understand so much intellectually, but it takes me time to actually absorb it and then go into, because I knew I'm not responsible for others. And now I'm like, oh, I am not responsible for others. I take ownership over my side, and I take ownership. And, I'm still going to fall down, but baby steps. So, but that was good. It was just very clarifying and then I don't know if this is silly, but whatever. Today, I feel like I took ownership of before I would have been like, ugh, that person's so passive aggressive and like thinking, I don't know if that correlates, because I didn't think she was being irresponsible. But anyway, based on me taking ownership, I ended up text messaging somebody to take ownership for something they didn't like, even though they were like ignoring me, if that makes sense. So I dropped my daughter off, and I parked somewhere that, I knew I wasn't supposed to park, but I'm like, 30 seconds, like, and I never do this. So I was like, everybody else breaks the rules, so I'm going to break it today. And so, which, like, I'm like, seriously, I'm such a rule follower. So I was like, all right, I'm breaking it today. I don't care. So, and then, 30 seconds, I signed him out and drive away. But then I said good morning to the teachers, and they both totally ignored me. Like, one looked down, and she always, no matter what she's doing, always looks up to say hello. So I'm like, whether I'm right or wrong, it felt like a passive-aggressive move. But I text messaged her, I apologize for double parking. Somebody said that you're not supposed to do that. I didn't think it was a big deal for female. I didn't even say that, but whatever. But anyway, I took ownership, And she wrote back, no worries, that actually the district had gotten mad at her. So, anyway, it was nice to clear it up and take ownership of my side. Because sometimes I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll just let what's the word? Let the something drop where they may. Of like,
chips.
Whatever. Yeah, thank you.
The chips fall.
Let the chips fall wherever they may kind of thing.
Right.
I saw she might not have looked happy. I could have been imagining it. Could have been like real. But then I could have just been like, all right, she can handle it whatever way she wants without me thinking that I can be very strong in this and decide of how it's going to go too.
Right.
So that was empowering. Because I'm like, oh, I don't have to just wait. Is she going to send out an email to everybody now because she doesn't want to single me out? Or is she going to have a conversation with me? I don't have to wonder. I could just take ownership for, hey, my side wasn't cool for you. Totally saw it. Now I'm acknowledging it and we're done.
Right? That's good. Yeah, that's really good. It's so fascinating, actually, if you start looking at your relationships and everything that happens with other people in this new light. Like, really... There was a saying that changed my life, really. It's not called anything. The saying is, put down the microscope and pick up the mirror.
Oh, wow.
It is a huge one. So literally stop analyzing everybody else with a microscope and pick up the mirror and start analyzing yourself with that same microscope. And then shifts start to happen, like big shifts. Aha moments start to just like download. I call it downloads when you get an aha moment. Do you call it that?
No, I like that though.
A download? I'm getting a download.
I love it. My mom used to say that our brains were like computers, so that actually is funny.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Like
that
think about
funny.
what would you put into a computer, what would you put into a car to have it all run optimally?
Right.
So I like the download.
The download, yeah. It's a download, it's an upgrade.
I'm upgrading right now, thank you.
Upgrade. So what else do you have on your, what was the question that you were going to ask me this morning when you decided to call me? We were going to talk about that.
Oh. Well, can I just say too, that I don't know if I'm being goofy, but like your thing about what you just said, the statement also reminds me of, the Bible. I'm never good at quoting the Bible.
Bible quotes.
I love Bible quotes, but like, take the plank of wood out of your eye when you're, the other person has a speck or a splinter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about their
So actually
sliver and take the plank out of yours.
Yeah, and I'm not quoting it properly, so forgive me. I am not a Bible nerd.
Someone tell us, because some of you out there know all the scripture.
Exactly.
Like, what book is that? What phrase is that?
I can look it up.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite, ironically. But this is how I roll.
It's a good one.
Oh, I like that. But I don't know how to quote it perfectly. Which that goes into actually blame, because to me one of my hardest things is being blamed, because it goes into my other having to take responsibility for others. So when somebody blames me and I'm working through this, I'll say I used to accept blame and actually think I was to blame, and then now more recently where I'm like, I'm not to blame, like, and I'm trying to set boundaries of I don't like the word try, sorry. I am setting boundaries.
There is no try.
That is my, the optimal language lady speaking. that's my word of get rid of. So,
that's a good one.
And Kevin, my husband, says I'm Yoda, because it's try. There is no try. Anywho. So the past was I took the blame, and I actually searched to find out where should I take ownership and like where was I responsible for the blame. And I would search and like find the silliest thing to say, oh yeah, that person's right, that there is some part of this that they're accurate. And I could find it. Like I would search. But now I recognize of when it really is like when it doesn't land of me being responsible, I have unfortunately argued back, which I would love to empower. That's what my question was going to be for you. Of how can I come from when being blamed because somebody else doesn't want to be responsible or take ownership for their side. Like they would like me to take responsibility for their emotions, take responsibility for their messes, anything. Like just, and this is again, it goes back to not blaming. Haha, ironic. I do not like blame where I would even say that. But like, I don't even want to blame my family for giving that to me, but it's from them. I blame them. Okay. All right. Sorry, family. But I have a really, like, it's like so ingrained in me of don't blame. Make sure that you are being responsible for your own side. And like, it's okay to speak the truth, but not in blame or complaint. And so I'm being accused of sometimes of that when I go back to say, wait, this is what you're saying, but can you see the other side of what's happening that I'm seeing? But the other person then a lot of times might yell at me or be like, that's not true, you know, or just have a very strong reaction. And to me, I'm like, no, you don't want to take responsibility for my seeing. Like, you want me to take all ownership for... So I don't know. So anyway, like I said, I've gone into a habit that I'm not enjoying, and it's not a continuous habit, but it's just still, I don't even want it at all. But I know it's a step up, is arguing. So like, I'm not a victim anymore, and I'm not like, yeah, I mean, I would say that's victim. So I've empowered myself enough to, I guess, fight back, but yet it's not it's not the level I want to be on. I still want to be on a higher, like, neutral, or, yeah, not even above neutral. I'll go for neutral since I'm I'm stepping up.
Yeah.
But like, I'd like to surpass neutral and be more spiritual about it. Of, it's not about me. Let me see. Like, I'd love to be at the point of, and I could totally do that for people at certain times, but I'd love to be the point of always, and this is my perfectionist imperfection idea coming out, but I would love to be at the state of, oh, this has nothing to do with me. Let me see what's really there for you and help you through. Like, in a loving way, where it's not like a condescending or, yeah, light bulb moment.
Yes. That's not your job.
Right. Thank you. Yes. See? Over responsibility, which is the negative. Yes, yes, yes.
You looking for them and seeing what's in it for them and helping them through is not your job.
Oh my God.
That's a huge thing, especially when you're in that argumentative state, because I've been there with somebody who was irrational, and I was arguing, trying to argue a point, trying to make them see the light, trying to, you know, bring it down about 40 notches, but none of it was working. So the thing that worked for me was detachment. Like, just detach with love is so, it sounds so basic, but to get there it's a practice, because you have to find that in your heart somewhere, and no one can tell you where to look. Like, you have to, first of all, stop arguing.
I know!
You have to, like, just stop talking. That's, you know, in my case, what I did was I just stopped talking. And I would just say, I hear you. Because really, a lot of it is just validation. People want to be heard. I want to be heard too. You don't necessarily have to give me your opinion. You could just listen and just say, I hear you. I understand you. And leave it at that. And that, a lot of times, is so, like, satisfying in a weird way that they just stop talking. Because that's what they needed. They needed to feel understood. Like, I understand you. That's not how it is for me, but I understand you. And then just leave it. Just let it drop and not go back in and try to fix things, because that's not your job.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It doesn't because I'm going intellectual. I go into my head. So, like, when I get very heady, so I already know
That
what you said intellectually and
right.
logically. However, like you said, nobody can do that for you, because it's not about logic and it's not about your intellect or your head. It has to be when you just are like, this is how it's going to go now. And you just, I mean, I would like to say it's a choosing, but it's more than a choosing even, because you just have to be in that state of mind.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's like a heartfelt state of mind where you lose your blame. You're not blaming them anymore.
But that's the thing. I'm coming from a wounded place.
Yeah.
When I hear blame, my heart hurts. Like, it's really like you're poking around at my heart of, like, that I'm wrong again. See, I could even get sad about that. But that's just it. Like, I don't want to be wrong.
Right.
Like, so I want to now. Before I was accepting I was wrong and I wasn't worth anything, and so I should fix for other people because I'm not even good enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
honey.
So now I've upgraded that to I am worth it, I am enough, and I have a say, and I'm not wrong here. And even if I was doing something, can't you just have a conversation with me? Because I'm a very agreeable person. So don't blame me. Ask me something or request something.
Right.
Because I am very logical and very heartfelt. So it's like, don't be mean to me.
Right.
So it's like my little kid is like, I'm feeling like I'm such a nice person. Why don't you like me?
Right? Oh, that's like all of us. I feel like that's all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's all of us. Even people who are so mean, that's what's inside of that.
Right.
Is
But that's
that
why I think I'm
same
arguing
thing.
back.
Yeah. The problem with arguing is this. It perpetuates an argument. But stopping arguing is really hard. Like you have to put on all the brakes. All the soul brakes, all the heart brakes, all the mind brakes, all the intellect, like all of it at once to stop, because you want to be right and you want to be heard. But once you detach and realize that they're not going to hear, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? That old saying, like maybe they're not ready, maybe they're not there, maybe they're not capable of any of it. So the only choice that you have is you do you. And just let it go and don't take it personal. That's the detachment part, where you detach from the things that in the relationship that are irritating you, and just take in the information, but detach your heart. Detach your heart from it so it's not offensive to you, and understand that it's not about you, because everything that everyone does is about them. And to live in that state of mind, though, that's hard. And to forgive, because that's a component of it too. Like, you can't just detach. You also have to forgive in order to find that spot where you can just hear it and be okay with it and let it roll off your feathers. Let it roll off your duck feathers. Yeah, that's a hard one. It's hard because it's a practice. Like, you have to start, and you'll probably start down here, but every time you go through it, you'll raise your levels of like awareness in the situation. But step one is definitely stop arguing.
Thank you for my obviousness.
Right? It's hard. That's hard.
Well, you're after saying a lot of things, though, that, I'm just on this path. Like, you made me think of the 4 agreements, because don't take it personally.
Right.
Do you know that book? Yeah.
Yes.
And so there's so much richness in that whole book. And then they have, detach with love. I don't think I heard that before. Then forgive, I've read Radical Forgiveness, because I was able to come from acceptance of things that's happened to me, but forgiveness has been always very hard. And so I used to beat myself up of, I can't seem to forgive. Like, I will always remember, and so that to me is and that's not lack of forgiveness, but I knew I wasn't forgiving because of the similar patterns that were occurring still.
Right.
And so, I need to go back to the book Radical Forgiveness. If you haven't heard of that, it's amazing. And so it goes through steps.
That's nice. I would love to read that, although I came to my own sort of radical forgiveness not that long ago, and it was radical and it was transformational. Like in a second, when I had a download, I was like, oh God, yes, now I get it. And it took a long time, but it's also like, it's always a work in progress. Like, it's a practice. That's the whole journey, right? And I'm really like stewing in that lately. The fact that you're never gonna get there. Just know that. Like, that's not what life is. There's no destination. Like, it's the journey. There is no getting there. You're not getting there. Don't even think about it.
Yep. So you just punched me in the gut.
Yeah.
I know that already, again.
I mean,
it's
it's
peeling the onion, and like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, there's another layer. Oh my god, there's another layer, and I'm like, I am not even at like some people might be at a nub, but I'm like, no, I'm like, I have such a large onion.
I'm crying. The onion cry, right?
And I'm like, holy cow! So I hate to hear there's no destination. So I don't want to hear it still.
It's hard to know that. Like, it literally is like all these itty bitty goals, and that's why it's also really good that you don't have like this huge destination in front of you that's overwhelming. Like, you can take one little piece and one little piece and one little piece and deal with little bites and get there. You're still going to get there. You don't have to overwhelm yourself thinking, oh, it's such a big thing that we have to do, right? So that's why, like, when you're faced with a relationship that's really challenging, and you can make a list of all the things that are really challenging that you can't stand that this person does, and then use that as a mirror, you can just take one thing and just work on that one thing, or just kind of search and see if you can find the sign. It's like a sign. That's the universal sign, like, okay, here's what you need to fix. Let's see if she can figure this out. Right? For me, like, the procrastination and like the slowness, that was driving me crazy. And I was like, oh, when I had my moment, my aha moment, it's like, slowness, procrastination. Whoa. Okay, where can I find that in myself? And as soon as I said that, oh my God, I had an embarrassing moment with myself. I was like, oh wow, Kristen, this is like elementary. And you've been passing over this for years. You missed it for years. Years.
Yeah, but that's our blind spots.
That's our blind spots. So yeah, the mirror is really important. Put down the microscope and pick up the mirror. Huge,
Oh, right.
huge, huge, huge. And that's what your relationships are. If you're irritated with somebody, figure out why. So I'm going to make a list for all my family members of what irritates me, all my family members.
I love it.
And then I'm going to sit in the mirror and be like, okay, step 1, procrastination. Step 2, slowness. How about passive aggressive? Okay, withdrawing love. That's a big one for me. And I've found that I do it. Like, I do it. If you're not doing what I want you to do, I'll ignore you. That's scary. That's abusive.
Yeah.
It's one of like the worst forms of abuse, actually. And so I'm working on that one too. Just to forgive quickly and like come back into the present. Just really working on presence and fast forgiveness. I don't have to mull for weeks, but that's how I grew up, you know, so that's kind of it's in there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'll mull for years. For real. That's scary because you can waste so much of your life on nothing. 'Cause clean slate every morning, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are our takeaways here? Clean slate every morning. Tell yourself a new story.
Well, just tell yourself an encouraging story. So set intentions. So set your intention for the day, or even reset your intentions when you need to at any moment. Like intention for your conversation with somebody, your intention for like how your day is going to go at work, like anything. So setting your intention, just deciding to put that story to the side and not needing somebody to come and apologize or not needing somebody to be different. They can be exactly how they're being, and you can create a new story.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. Just let people be. And then the third thing is looking in the mirror.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that's the huge piece of this. Like, let people be. Don't hold on to your negative stories. Let them go. And then reflect. Look in the mirror and find out Find out what you're doing that's contributing. What's your contribution? Because in every relationship, your contribution is you, and it takes two. So if you see things cropping up in the same, like in multiple relationships, like the same issue in multiple relationships, then you really know you have some work to do, right?
Right.
Very fascinating. Yeah. I think we're done on this topic. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Do you have anything
If
else?
somebody wants to tell us the other biblical one of waking up with a clean slate, that's actually in the Bible too.
Oh,
About
yeah.
something with scarlet. Like, I'm so bad at knowing the Bible. And I'm not even, like, I grew up Catholic. But I'm like, yeah, that's why. Because, Christian people. Why? You grew up Christian.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to know the Bible?
Totally.
No, there's another one about...
I've got two in the other room. We can go look it up.
But there's another one about, like, so the clean slate is, like, something about snow. So it's about, like... I don't know. Whatever. I'll have to tell you the quote another time. I'm really bad.
Right? If anybody knows it, you can drop it in the comments.
There you go. But it's a good one for the clean slate. But
All
I really
right.
like your put down the microscope, pick up the mirror.
I can't take responsibility for that one. That is an Al-Anon saying.
Oh, how funny. Okay.
And that particular one was just changed my life.
Yeah.
It was such a revelation.
I've never heard it before. I love
It
it.
started a whole journey. All right, well, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. My name is Kristen Anderson. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment of things that you have manifested and how you did it. And if any of this was helpful for you, please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear it.